I'm Tanishka, and I just felt to do a little bit of a spiel about Virgo because this is the symbol of Virgo is the Virgin, and the sun is now moving through this sign, and so it really brings up for all of us, regardless of when we were born or whether we're male or female or gender fluid, it brings up for us the lessons of this sign. In other words, we're asked to embody the strengths of Virgo. Now, Virgo is shown as the Virgin. Now, before we get all excited about that, I really want to clear up some misconceptions about that word because the word virgin originally meant priestess. Okay, the definition was a woman unto herself, a sacred and sovereign being. It was not about being a young girl who had not been sexually deflowered. That is a complete distortion, a patriarchal distortion that has resulted in the abuse of, many prepubescent girls. The statistics on human trafficking, I think it's 20% of all, sex trafficked people are girls that are, still children, okay, into marriage. So this is all due to this misconception about this word. And why is that? Well, a virgin originally was a woman who was skilled in the mystic arts. And so in the ancient world, a woman was prized if she was trained in the ways of the priestesses, if she'd gone to the mystery school. And all the noble women would go and do this because for them to develop their mystic gifts, and I'm referring to things like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, precognition, intuition, so utilizing their subtle senses, the strengths of the feminine, meant that they would then be a real, not advantage, but added value to a nobleman who had aspirations of leadership, such as a king or, someone that had a sphere of influence. He wanted a woman by his side that could harness the strengths of the feminine to help him be a better leader, okay, a wise and benevolent leader. And so, patriarchy turned that, oh, thanks for joining me live, lovely, turned that tradition into the Swiss finishing school, where women instead went and learnt how to balance books on their head and which fork to eat the appetizer with. They learned etiquette, they learned manners, they learned how to be subservient, domestic, trinkets and ornaments, which is, how just another way that the true feminine was subjugated and devalued and obscured and distorted. So, a lot of people, thanks to Linda Goodman in the 70s with her books on astrology, think of Virgo as just neat nuts, people that are very highly critical. And, I think Linda might have had some issues with some Virgos in her life. And so they got a bit of a bum rap, Virgos and Scorpios, in her book. But Virgo is so needed on the planet right now. We need to embody this archetypal energy, again, whether we're male or female, of being the vessel, okay, the chalice, the grail. And this is the subject of my next book, which I'm so excited. We're going to be releasing the first 3 chapters free next week, so stay tuned to those that pre-order. So I'm very, very excited about that. But this is just a little teaser, I suppose, that, we are so needed right now to embody the divine in an earthly form, and that is what Virgo is about. Okay, it's an earth sign. The opposite polarity is Pisces, which is about spiritual connection, okay, with the divine. And in Virgo, it's when we embody that, okay, through sacred service, through dedicating our hands, our words to be of service to the divine, to do the work of the divine, helping to elevate the consciousness and alleviate suffering. And so this is what the ancient priests and priestesses did. It wasn't about, rules and regulations. It was about being an embodiment of the divine. This then got turned into, that's heresy to think of yourself as divine, but we all have the divine spark within us, and Virgo asks us to honor that divine spark, honor our energy by doing that which expands our light, that which feels so aligned with all that we are, with our true essence, and not doing the things that don't align, which diminish our light. Okay, so at the moment on this planet, a lot of people are being challenged around their own sacred sovereign body temple. And Virgo asks us to be very discerning about what we take in, on the understanding that the divine design of our bodies is beyond our intellectual capacity to comprehend, that they are beyond anything that we, with our 10% rational mind, could perfect in any way. So this is you may find that you are personally challenged on whether or not you will honor the sovereignty of your body and the divine design of your body and the intelligence of your body as a fractal of the divine, of the Earth Mother this month. So look, I have a course starting on the next new moon, which is new moon in Virgo. And this is when the sun and the moon will both be in this sign, and we're coming up to that now. This is the final week. So you might find lessons coming up at the moment about, I need some space to think. I need a quiet time to come back to myself, or I need to get back into my practice, or I need to listen to what my body is telling me it needs in terms of health or nutrition or exercise. But this initiation path that we're starting next Monday, the 6th of September, which is the eve of the new moon in Virgo, is basically an initiation path to awaken the priestess. And we do that step by step by understanding and empowering the expression of each of the faces of the goddess or the sacred feminine within our psyche. And this literally turns on each of the 7 chakras and awakens the divine feminine essence known as Shakti or Kundalini, serpent power. But it's the energy or the force of the Earth Mother. We literally bring it up our energy system step by step so that it's safe, because it's the bioelectricity of our bodies and it's very, very powerful. And as we raise that energy, we purify our temple. So anything that's not resolved, okay, whether that's trauma, whether that's beliefs that don't serve us, will come up to show itself. So it's an intense journey, okay, like being in the crucible, and we're having to transmute all the shadow into the light of understanding. This is internal alchemy. So it's a very ancient path of initiation known as the descent of Inanna, or the descent of Ishtar, which was the ancient name for Venus. So it's a journey of self-love, okay, to see every aspect of the feminine in yourself and fall in love with it, to see that all of you is divine, so that you can be a unique embodiment of the goddess here on earth, which is so needed right now to restore the sacred balance after 5,000 years of the subjugation of the feminine. I don't know what that funny ding was. There's all these things, like, I don't know, hearts or coins or whatever, that I don't understand any of it. I'm just here to speak, so forgive me if I'm not responding to whatever made that go ding then. So now this journey that I'm speaking about, you might have heard of the hero's journey, thanks to the work of Joseph Campbell. This is the equivalent. It's the heroine's journey. And so it is a descent path. That means that we go deep, we go down into the subconscious, into Pandora's box, and that requires the support of a mentor. We're taught in our modern world that, in all the sort of formulaic superhero movies and everything, they get out of the underworld on their own with, funny one-liners and, and yeah, that makes for a great film, but it's misleading, okay? Nobody gets out of the underworld without help, okay? We all need help. I need help. We all need help. So the underworld is kind of like the labyrinth of the mind, and we can get lost in there. Because it's hard to see our own stuff, okay? It's much easier to see someone else's stuff, okay? Particularly if we know the terrain. So the role of the mentor is to provide a map, okay? And in this instance, it's the archetypes, the feminine aspects, psychological aspects that govern the 7 major energy centers in our body, the chakras. And so this is what activates the tree of life, known as the Shekinah. And it's what bridges us between heaven and earth, so that we can become a conduit to anchor heaven and earth. And that is our charge at this time as custodians of Eden. So there's never been a better time to do this process. There will be an equivalent initiation path for men, which I'll personally be facilitating starting the end of October. So I will include a link for the guys if you want to check that out, and register your interest, and then I'll let you know when the registration's open for that. But for this one, for the women, this is starting the new moon closest to the equinox, as it was always done in the ancient world. And I will be there every step of the way as your mentor, so that when it is scary, okay, to look at what is unhealed in your psyche and what is ultimately sabotaging you in your external life, that you've got support. And I do that in a few ways. So one is through literal mentoring. So this morning I've been answering my students' questions. You just type a question as you go through the materials, and I'll respond to you usually within 24 hours. And that'll arrive direct to your inbox, so I'm accessible to you. The second thing is through monthly live circles, which I facilitate. And for those that feel shy about sitting in a circle and, exposing themselves transparently, it is an invitation to share. It's an invitation to attend the circles. It's not an obligation. You have free will. You can come and just be a witness. But what happens in those circles is profound. We all come and we walk away transformed, we walk away lighter, we walk away more integrated, more cohesive within our psyche, because the synchronicity that happens in circle is people reflect exactly what's coming up for you, things that you couldn't name. And so there's a huge power in attending it live. If you can't attend them live, we do provide recordings to students, and only to students. And then the other thing is I'm doing one-to-one sessions only with the students that enroll in this course. I've been doing them all last week and got them this week. So I do these before the course starts. Again, they're optional, but it's an opportunity for me to meet my students one-on-one and to really look at what's going on within their personal psyche, and channel information for each one of these feminine archetypes to empower them, and also to flag which months are going to be potentially more challenging, and modalities that can assist to empower each one of those. So on top of that, there's additional optional support. We have a sisterhood forum. So, you know, once you open the doors to these archetypes and you say, okay, I'm going to work with my inner wild woman this month, she will show up. You know, you will have the most entertaining experiences where she directly initiates you in your waking world. And so it's really awesome to be able to share those experiences along the way with those that you know, really get it, that are journeying the same archetype at the same time. So we have that, and we also have an optional buddy system, so that you're paired up with someone you can debrief with once a month as the moon is waning, because everything in the course is aligned with the phases of the moon. Everything is done so that the ebb and flow, if you will, of the lunar energy, which empowers and heals the feminine, is supporting you through this. So yeah, look, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll put a link and you can check out the course if it calls you. We've already got 21 women signed up for this intake, and you'll see testimonials on the page. Oh goodness, hang on, I've just read a very sad message. Teresa says, my brother passed away last Friday. Oh, I'm so sorry, love. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, just to speak to that, thank you for sharing. We are being initiated, whether we like it or not, by life right now, okay? And death is the ultimate teacher, whether that's a physical death, whether that's a loss of identity because we've lost our job, or you know, the loss of an ideal as we become aware of the global shadow. So we're all being put through a death and a rebirth, psychologically, emotionally, energetically, and to some degree physically. And you know, we can want to run and hide and, you know, go into denial. It's not happening, I just want to watch Netflix. But the thing is, it is happening, and it is divinely orchestrated, even though it is painful and doesn't make sense a lot of the time. It is everything that is in the shadow is coming up to be seen, okay? So that it's like a big purge, a big detoxification of the global shadow. And so depending on the level of shadow work that we've done within our own psyche, we can look at the global shadow, okay? If we haven't done any shadow work, we're kind of like kids and we just want to be taken care of and told everything's going to be okay if we just do what we're told. If we respond from the level of the teenager, we might, you know, want to get approval, okay, for you know, doing what we think is socially acceptable, okay. But if we come at this from the perspective of an adult, someone who has been down to the depths many, many times and done the work of integrating their own shadow, then it's easier to look at the global shadow and to respond from a place of centeredness. So if you're feeling that what's happening in the world is pulling you off center, okay, that you're wanting to run and hide, that you just want it all to go away, know that this is often a flag that it's time to grow up. It's time for us to be accountable, to become sacred, sovereign, self-governing beings. And psychologically, we can't do that unless we are willing to look at our own flaws and be truly accountable for them, okay? And none of us are to blame because we haven't had rites of passage. This is something that the Roman Empire outlawed because they understood people that are mature, people that are self-aware, cannot be ruled by an external authority, okay? So they stamped it out. They stamped out the Grail, which was the ancient religion of love, where the Magdalens, the mystic women, would initiate men and women into these descent paths to awaken the hero and the heroine and the mystic, so that we could be mature and self-aware. So everything that's happening at the moment is a catalyst showing us how much that we need the sacred feminine if we are to create a truly sustainable future for ourselves and future generations. But I speak to that a lot more in my next book, The Grail, so stay tuned for that. We will be, as I said, giving away the first 3 chapters free to those that pre-order when we do our soft launch on Tuesday with the new moon in Virgo. So I hope that you have found today's message of some comfort or insight. I don't expect that you agree with everything I say. I honor your free will. I honor your own perspective. But yeah, just have to speak from my heart as I feel too. So take care, everybody. Oh, thanks, Norma, for your beautiful endorsement of the course. Your Inner Goddess course is the best thing I've ever done for myself. You've been the greatest mentor. I'm eternally grateful. Oh, it's been a joy to have you in the course, Norma. So thrilled to sit in circle with you every month, love. So blessings today, wherever you are on the planet, and let's keep holding the vision that the new earth, the organic timeline of Gaia, is happening, even if it looks to the contrary. So blessings, everyone, and yeah, do something to honor your sacred essence, the virgin in all of you. All right, ciao for now.